So, guys, what's going on? So, this is Serge Varlay, and he is from BlackRock. He is a recruiter from BlackRock. And he came out, it was on the cover, it was through James O'Keefe, I believe, who was at Project Veritas. He got caught saying that BlackRock buys politicians, and they buy them for as cheap as $10,000 a politician. They buy politicians basically through political, contributions, things like that, donations, and the politicians will do whatever they want. And he's caught saying this. Now, BlackRock is the one that's pushing ESG, DEI. They're the ones behind all the crazy stuff you're seeing with these companies that are just pushing these crazy agendas that there's, all sorts of things happening with it. We'll leave it at that. But this is BlackRock, and the person that's really behind most of this, or all of it, is Larry Fink. And Larry Fink is the CEO or the head of BlackRock. And he is the one where he has his companies, whatever the company may be. And in order to get things through or buy or pushed, it's basically him or him through BlackRock making donations to your politicians. Now, Larry Fink got caught on a video at the World Economic Forum, I guess a couple of months or a couple of years ago, saying that, he will force companies to do what he wants. Like, companies and employees have to be forced to whatever he wants them to be forced, like ESG or DEI. And the way they force it is this. ESG is basically a social credit score, and BlackRock will say, so let's say you were opening a company. You're going to open up, Joe's Sneaker Company, and, you need money, or you want like a BlackRock to invest in you. BlackRock will say, well, what's your ESG score? How good are you doing with DEI? You would have to do all these things that you see Bud Light and Target doing in order for BlackRock to lend you money. So BlackRock is using the ESG and the DEI score to force companies to do what they want them to do in order for those companies to come to BlackRock and get money for investments, things like that. So that's what this is. And this was all the brain of Larry Fink who came up with this. He's the one that figured how to force these companies to do that. A regular credit score or a regular, a company that's in good standing is not good enough. Now you have to have an ESG score, a DEI score, and that's all Larry Fink, and that's all him pushing control on companies and on employees, really. He's actually pushing it on the company and telling the company to push it on the employee. Now, before Larry Fink, who kind of came up with this whole idea, you had cities like New York City and San Francisco and LA that was saying to BlackRock, look, we'll give you our money to invest. We'll give you, like New York City or San Francisco would say, look, here's our retirement money. Here's the money from our pensions and our unions. And they would give BlackRock this money. They then turned around to BlackRock and said, well, if we give you this money, what are you going to do about, equity and inclusion? And we're not going to give you the money unless you push equity and inclusion on the companies. You take our money and, you give it to them. So if you take money from San Francisco's union, police department, let's say, the next move would be BlackRock giving that money, let's say, to Bud Light. So BlackRock would say, look, Bud Light, we own 30% of your company through stocks and all that type of stuff. And if you want us to keep, supporting your stock and, doing finance for you, you better push this, you have to get your ESG score up. And in order for you to get your ESG score up, this is what you need to do. Hence what you see Bud Light was doing, Target is doing, Disney is doing. All of these things are connected through BlackRock, and then more so through Larry Fink. But then even more than that, just that this Sergey is saying that, well, we buy politicians. So you're always saying, where are our politicians? How come they're not fighting back? How come nobody is trying to stop this? What's going on? Well, all your politicians have been basically bought off through contributions and donations through, BlackRock and Larry Fink. They're basically paying the politicians to, keep your mouth shut. Don't push back against our agenda, our ESG, our DEI. And if you, just let us do our thing, we'll donate to your political campaign. We'll make donations, to your charity and your foundation. And basically, they're just pumping money into them. And that's what this guy, Serge Varlay, is saying. So with that being said, you need to push back against BlackRock. You need to make it vocal and push back against Larry Fink. Also, Vanguard is part of this. Now, BlackRock is part of Chase. Jamie Dimon is also part of this. You have Jamie Dimon, Larry Fink, Vanguard, the Vanguard Group, the mutual fund, BlackRock. All of these people are here destroying society, really bringing society down and going after your kids. And they're able to do this because, they're buying off your politicians that aren't standing up and stopping this. It's almost like you know that it's wrong. You see the insanity. You vote for your politicians to somewhat stop this, do something about this, and they kind of just don't do anything, or they just sit on the ball with it, or they just don't know, and they're going to do an investigation. They're not doing anything. They're catching $10,000 a donation or whatever it is from BlackRock and Larry Fink, and this has to stop. Anyway, that's kind of that's scratching the surface of what's happening. But you should know about it. And all these people you should blast. You should be putting these people on blast. You should be writing to the company. You should be writing to your politicians saying, what the hell's going on with Larry Fink? Who's Serge Varlay? Why are they paying politicians off? Are you getting paid off? How come nobody's stopping the madness that's going on with our kids in schools and what they're pushing on them in schools? What's going on with ESG? How are you giving us a social credit score? It's totally outlandish, and this all has to stop because all these companies, you notice, are failing. But they're doubling down. They're doing things that are losing them business, losing them money, but they're actually saying, yeah, we're losing billion, but we're going to double down. Yeah, we lost $10 billion, but you know what? We're going to go harder. It doesn't make sense. It's not common sense. It's not business sense. It's no sense. It's like they're destroying themselves, and there's a little bit more behind why they may be doing that, but it's not making sense, and this is all coming from BlackRock and Larry Fink. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying safe.